Due to the graphic nature of the following content, it may not be suitable for all viewers.
The Sinai Desert. For African refugees, the last and most dangerous part of their bid to reach Israel. When we came here late last year, we uncovered horrendous stories: forced labor, rape, even organ harvesting. Killed by Bedouin gangs or shot by Egyptian border guards. Behind me is the border between Israel and Egypt. Now, when we came here last time to northern Sinai, we discovered that there were many African refugees who were trying to reach Israel who got into the hands of human traffickers. They were tortured. Massively high ransoms were demanded. Many of the women were raped, and some of the refugees were even killed. We've now returned here to see whether the situation in northern Sinai has changed and improved for the African refugees. A few miles from Egypt's border with the Gaza Strip is a place called Al-Mekhdiyah. 24 hours a day, trucks rumble through this desolate settlement, carrying everything from fuel to building materials to be smuggled through tunnels into Gaza. Al-Mekhdiyah has long been a hub for human misery, a base for people traffickers. African refugees trying to cross the Sinai are brought here by smugglers and then held for ransom. Bedouin gangs blackmail their relatives to extort tens of thousands of dollars for their release. When CNN came here last year, we found refugees held in a pitiful state, the outside world oblivious to their state of virtual slavery. We knew our reporting back then shone an unwelcome spotlight on the tribes who controlled daily life in Sinai. Now we've come back to meet several sheikhs of the powerful Sawarka tribe, and we found that things are changing. They say they formed a council to combat the human traffickers. Sheikh Mohammed Abu Bilal has become the guardian angel for African refugees in Sinai. He organizes demonstrations to protest against the people traffickers and tell the people here to shun those who are involved in the business. He also built a safe house for those who escape forced labor.
Usually I have around 15 Africans who come severely tortured, so I bring them doctors or do anything to bring happiness to their hearts because they suffer extreme torture.
Sheikh Mohammed takes me to the safe house, where 14 Eritreans are recovering after recently escaping from a human trafficker's compound. The men are in a bad state. Malnourished and weak, they're still very scared and ask us to conceal their identities. But they want to show us the scars on their bodies that give an indication of what they've been through. The wounds have not yet healed. Some are infected. They say they were almost constantly abused by people smugglers.
You are lucky if you can rest for 1 hour. Every hour, or every 20 minutes, they would come and hit us. They used a very big stick. And after a while, you don't feel your body anymore. You just feel like your whole body is paralyzed, because it is swollen everywhere. Even our hands. We cannot even hold the bread with our own hands because our hands hurt so bad.
The men alleged the traffickers would melt plastic on their backs, use electric shocks, and more.
He hit me.
He hit you?
Yeah. He hit me and hit ours. And what's the plastic? He's in the fire.
All of them say their families in Eritrea and elsewhere were blackmailed into paying huge sums, but still they were not freed.
After we arrived in Sinai, we were taken to a house where they told us to pay $3,500. And they tortured us and said, if you do not pay $3,500, we will kill you. So we got scared and we contacted our relatives. They paid the $3,500, But instead of releasing us, they just took us to the next room. Then they chained our hands and legs together and hung us upside down and started beating our feet. They melted plastic on our skin and just kept constantly hitting us. And they said if you do not pay $33,000, no one will come out of this alive.
These Eritreans managed to escape their captors by stealing the keys to the locks of the chains that they were shackled with. They actually brought some of the chains with them. Now, they tell us that their hands were tied, their legs were tied as well, and if there were delays in payments, they were punished very severely. They were obviously tortured, but also they were not allowed to sleep, and the captors made them stand the whole night.
Unbelievably, the compound they escaped from is only a few hundred yards from the safe house. Here in northern Sinai, many of the torture camps where African hostages are held are hidden in compounds with elaborate villas, showing just how lucrative this dirty business is. Sheikh Mohammed's men found this group and brought them here, probably saving their lives. Mohammed is taking a big risk by protecting the refugees. The people smugglers are well armed and ruthless. It's also a financial burden on him. But he says he's fed up with the human rights abuses in his backyard.
There are usually signs of torture and rape. They arrive to me in bad condition, dressed in rags and starved. These are all methods of oppression to exploit them for money. I get them doctors to try and help. The burden is heavy on me, but is a responsibility called upon us by Islam, which makes it less of a burden. That is why I spend from my money to harbor them and bring happiness to their hearts at any cost.
The sheikhs say they've even found women who'd become pregnant after being raped by the traffickers and were still being tortured. We find one of them in Israel, near the Levinsky Park in Tel Aviv, where some of the refugees who do make it out of Sinai end up. Tigisti Tekla tells us her story. Raped by smugglers, she became pregnant and had an abortion when she was in Israel.
What she's
saying, they are really very cruel people, criminal people, and they don't have the human sense. And while we are, screaming, while we are saying that I'm virgin, and they don't care about you at all.
Tigisti says she's prepared to speak out so the world knows about the ordeal she and many other women suffer in the Sinai. In some cases, babies conceived by rape are born in captivity. These pictures show a then 5-month-old girl named Cecilia, born in a people traffickers camp after her mother was raped there countless times. The mother told a human rights group after she was released that a Bedouin smuggler was the father and that he had tortured Cecilia, his own daughter. He burned the child's head to pressure relatives to pay a ransom. The baby was later treated in a hospital in Cairo, the rights group told us. One of those leading the charge is Ibrahim al-Munai. He's a powerful sheikh from the Sawarka tribe and a proud smuggler. Ibrahim controls several of the largest tunnels where goods are trafficked from Sinai to Gaza. He says he loathes the people traffickers and their savage abuse of the African refugees. The sheikhs claim they've already cut the number of kingpin traffickers in Sinai.
This trade is not part of the Bedouin traditions, chivalry or culture. I have around 200 men helping me fight these traffickers, and my partner has another 200. This trade is a disgrace. We have pressured them. Stores are not allowed to sell bread, sugar or tea to those traffickers. We have provided the vendors with a list of their names and banned them from selling to them. This is a serious boycott against them. Some families refuse to let them marry their daughters even.
The sheikhs are forcing the traffickers out of business, sometimes with the barrel of a gun.
The number of big bosses working this business is between 10 and 20 men. People now stand up to them. In the past, if an African escaped the camp, the criminals were able to catch them again. Now they don't dare enter people's lands to recapture them.
As Sheikh Ibrahim sips his tea, he makes a bold prediction that his men can eradicate human trafficking from the Sinai in about 6 months. They've come a long way already, but much more needs to be done. And as we find out, there's still plenty of money to be made from the misery of would-be migrants.